Hello, welcome back from the break. Thank you all for joining us today. For those of you I have not yet had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Kelsey Price, and I'm the chair of the Young Group this year. It is an honor to welcome you all here. I'm thrilled with the turnout, and I'm looking forward to a fantastic afternoon together. I'm very excited to present Cenk. Cenk is part of our agency leadership team. He's responsible for all of our agency marketing here at Google. Prior to joining in 2011, he was part of McKinsey & Company, where he focused on our digital leadership practice there. He also spent time at Ogilvy, as well as a number of other global brands, where he focused primarily on global marketing strategy. Like many of us here at the ARF, Cenk is also a researcher at heart. He holds a PhD in marketing from NYU, where he focused on the role of consumer emotions in advertising. Cenk is also very involved in the community. He recently completed the New York City Marathon.
Yes.
And
See, that's the thing that gets the applause, right?
and he also is involved with a number of nonprofits, including Scenarios USA, a leading video nonprofit for underprivileged youth. Today he's here to talk about the new consumer, the new plan, and what we need to know. Thank you, Cenk.
Thank you. So when they invited me to speak at the ARF Youth Bootcamp, I had different things in mind. It ended up, again, a presentation that I needed to give on consumer and the new way of planning. So since when we talk about marketing and advertising agencies, the number one thing that comes to mind is video. So you'll see lots of videos today as time permits. And hence, we're going to start, before me saying anything, with a video.
You know, once in a while, something comes along that changes the way we live. A device so simple and intuitive, using it feels almost familiar. Introducing the 2015 Kia catalog. It's not a digital book or an e-book. It's a book. The first thing to know is no cables, not even a power cable. The 2015 Kia catalog comes fully charged, and the battery life is a turn-on. The interface is 7.5 by 8 inches, but can expand to 15 by 8 inches. The navigation is based on tactile touch technology, which you can actually feel. Content comes pre-installed via 328 high-definition pages of inspiring and furnishing items. To start browsing, simply touch and drag. Right to left to move forwards, left to right to move backwards. Notice something else? That's right, no lag. Each crystal clear page loads instantaneously, no matter how fast you scroll. If you want to get a quick overview, just hold it in the palm of your hand and using just your thumb, speed up the content. If you find something you want to save for later, you can simply bookmark it. And even if you close the application, easily find a bookmark.
Okay. Okay, so let's stop and I'll ask a question. Which YouTube video genre do you think that this is a prank on or it's a joke on? Does anyone? But what's the YouTube genre? Does anyone know this video genre? What is he doing? Kind of like a mockumentary, how to. He's actually unboxing. Which is a very, very big genre on YouTube, and there's big numbers that we can talk about the genre. So now I'm going to figure out Google Slides to go to the next one. Yes. So this is unboxing, and about 62% of the people say that they actually watch an unboxing video when they're researching new products. It started with consumer electronics, so that's why they're mocking the consumer electronics version of it, where a new product, an Apple or an Android phone comes out. The first thing that you see an unboxing video before the phone hits the market. But now it's a genre that spans across verticals. Japanese people are crazy about unboxing their food. And guess what? Kids are crazy about unboxing toys, to the point that Disney actually did an unboxing festival a couple of months ago for the upcoming Star Wars movies toys. And it generated similar engagement levels like this high stat that you're seeing right now. So video is an integral part of everyone's lives right now. It was TV maybe a few decades ago, now it's online video. And when we ask people to see how pervasive this is, we find out that actually it's more than just products, it's a part of people's everyday lives. Millennials, most of you I assume, about 2/3 of them say that when they want to learn something, they go to online video to learn things. That's why maybe how-to videos came to your mind. So in a world like this, I wanted to start with it. So we're going to learn with video. We're going to talk about video. We're going to talk about what it means, the new consumer. And then I'll show you a framework that we use around here to plan for the new consumer behavior. I don't need to say anything. It's just like I feel nauseated when I go to conferences and it's the mobile world. Yes, it is. It is. We don't need to repeat it. But the important thing with the mobile world, the change in consumer behaviors, we check in much more than we used to do. Before, maybe our engagement, our window of opportunity to engage with content, with brands, was prime time, night, weekends. But now we can check in much more often, right? It's in that mobile device. And that's where video goes as well. And to help explain what this checking in means, some folks here at Google did a video, and I love this video, so I want to show this at full length to you, and then we'll unpack what it means. Okay, so some of you who pay attention to detail might have seen what the video said. Okay, so this is I'm learning. That's yes. These are micromoments. The thing that's maybe mobile, talking about mobile and saying the world is a mobile world is maybe a little bit repetitive. That's why I said it's a little bit nauseating for me to talk about it that way. But we live in a world of micromoments. That's how we call it around here. And what does it mean? These are interactions where consumer needs are immediate, purposeful, and personal. And we're going to talk about what that is now, but one by one. About a year ago or so, we were obsessed about this, mobile being the first screen for online video, and we did a survey, and then we indeed found out that mobile is the first screen for online video when it comes to millennials. About 98% of millennials indicated their first screen to watch video content is mobile devices. At YouTube, we found about 100% growth or year on year in growth of views on mobile devices. But more importantly, right now at YouTube, about more than half of the watch time all around the world, watch time meaning the time you spend watching videos on YouTube, comes from mobile devices. And when it comes to advertising, there's always questions about, okay, so that's fine, but nobody watches advertising on mobile devices. We asked about that too. When we asked about that, we find that about people are 40% more likely to watch advertising or branded content on mobile devices versus other screens, TV screens. So it's interesting, right? It's just it's a screen where the needs are immediate, and then people know what they want, and they pay attention to what's on those screens. So it's kind of like basically going to the main element of micromoments, where you make the decision and you engage, and that's something that's new for all of us. It wasn't the case maybe in the bigger screens in the past few decades. So what are these interactions like? I said they were purposeful, and then I started talking about deciding on what to watch, what not to watch immediately. So we call it the magic of first 5 seconds. Be it an unskippable or skippable ad. How many of you are aware of this distinction? Skippable ads, unskippable ads? So you guys are aware. So for those of you who didn't raise your hands, you can skip an ad after 5 seconds on YouTube, or that option is not given to you. If the option is given to you, it's a skippable ad. And if the option is not given to you in the ad format, it's a non-skippable ad. But interesting enough, even the ad is non-skippable, you can choose to ignore it, right? Do you see the ad? In the first few seconds, you put it down. Or you start chatting with your friend, and then when it's over, you pay attention to the phone again, or you just basically toggle between different apps on your phone. This insight and this observation, we've been pondering it for a while, and we started doing something last year which we call unskippable labs. And the first experiment we did in the unskippable labs was with Mountain Dew. They had a similar question that we hear from many advertisers and many agencies, which is, can I take my 30-second TV spot and put on YouTube, and will I drive the same results? And this is in a moment when we were showing them the same stats that I just showed you, which is consumers, if they're on YouTube, they're most likely to be on mobile, and your content is going to be viewed on mobile devices. So we did a little experiment with them because we believe in excelling by doing. So we think that Mountain Dew needed to experiment a little bit and get to the answers on their own. So what we did was we took their 30-second TV spot. That's that one actually, in the middle. And then we changed it a little bit, working with their agency. Since we knew that consumers make a decision to watch or not to watch an ad in the first 5 seconds, we said, what about we maximize for the first 5 seconds? Let's keep the length 30 seconds again, but then put the brand in the first 5 seconds so that they can see, the consumers see, even the ones that'll turn the phone down or pass on to doing something else, they see the brand logo and they'll remember the brand later on. And then we said, let's just do something super fun. On brand, that's Mountain Dew, and which is not 30 seconds, however long it takes. And this is the pure fun version that I'll show you right now. This is what we did, the third option, which wasn't the TV ad.
Shoulders, check. Hips, check. Here we go.
So I'll just stop it. It goes on like this. It's just, oh dear. It just goes back on to the beat that you were just listening to. So let me ask you, so what do you think in terms of view-through rate, the percentage of people who watched at least 30 seconds of the ad or more? Of the three, who thinks that the TV spots, one of the TV spots won? Remember, they were 30 seconds long, and this one is 90 seconds. So who thinks that more people, more percentage of people watch the 30-second ads versus this one? Okay, TV ads. Okay, this one. Okay, so there's actually a distinction. On desktop, they were all similar view-through rates. But on mobile devices, we found something different. The pure fun version was the one that drove most view-through rate. It's incredible, right? It's 90 seconds long. It starts slow with no audio at all, and then it just picks up, but it just grabs your attention immediately, and then you want to watch. And then they basically did something to keep people's attention on mobile devices, which is the secret formula that we've been observing with other campaigns and other experiments as well, which is keeps you on the hook. This is an hypothesis. This is not yet proven by research, but we believe that the TV ads, the ads that we're used to seeing on TV, usually have a crescendo, just emotional climb, and then you have a big climax at the end or in the middle somewhere before you have the brand payoff. But on mobile devices and with online video, which is mostly consumed on mobile devices, you need to grab the attention in the beginning, and then you need to keep on having people's attention. And that's what the experiment showed. So people know what they like. So that's the whole idea, right? Their consumption is very purposeful when it comes to mobile devices. And it's very, very personal. That's the nature of the device. It's a personal device. You usually don't share with other people. But when it comes to preferences, there's a little bit more than just talking about being a personal device. First of all, everyone says that they're as open to brand that's delivering them content as anyone else. So there is not a myth that there are people that don't love the brands or they won't interact with the branded content. Our research says if there's a brand I love to and that I love, I tend to tell everyone about it. The other thing is there's evolving preferences, right? So there's a new definition of what's premium, what's actually brand safe, what's actually interesting for consumers. This is from Variety magazine last summer, which talks about for teens, 8 of the top 10 people they consider as celebrities are YouTube stars. Who knows this guy who's just coming out of that pussy? PewDiePie. Yes. Felix or Felix from Sweden. PewDiePie, the most subscribed YouTube channel, about 40 plus million subscribers right now. About 2 years ago, the same magazine, Variety magazine, had said, who's this guy? He basically does videos on the games that he plays, and he uses foul language. Like not everything he says is actually stuff that you would want to show everyone in your circle. So that was interesting, right? Like they changed their opinion, and that's kind of like interesting because it's a genre that so many people are having difficulty understanding. Gaming genre, like people are playing games, they're talking about it. This guy is giving tips with some sort of humor on the games that he plays. We'll talk about it a little bit more, but like he's not alone. About 6 of the top 10 most viewed channels in the US and about 20 of the top 100 in the world, I believe, are gaming channels. So it's another sign of how preferences are evolving and their personal and new genres are evolving. The other interesting is that the people who are engaging with this kind of content, which is new, like people of my generation, like when I heard about it, I just had the reaction of the Variety magazine, what the hell is this? But the people who are watching this kind of content are the people that advertisers are after. They're the influencers, they're the ones that buy the products first before others, and they influence others' purchase decisions. So to tell that story in a little self-plugin, I'll show you a video. This is our way of, in B2B marketing, in a world of mobile devices where our target, the advertisers and agencies, are on their mobile devices browsing content, we did this video to change their perceptions.
This is Steve. He's a gamer. Actually, that was our sound guy. This is Steve. He's the gamer. This is Steve's parents' basement. Actually, house. He owns it. This is Steve's lunch mess. Actually, it's his nephew, Logan.
Logan? Sorry, Uncle Steve.
This is another pizza delivery. Actually, it's another 4K Ultra HD TV delivery.
Sweet.
This is Steve's wife, Amy. Actually, she is Steve's wife, Amy. Amy's also big into gaming, probably because she's part of the fastest growing gaming demographic, women. This is what Steve and Amy do with their free time. Pretty much all of their free time. Along with 694 million other guys and girls who've discovered gaming isn't just something you do, it's also something you watch. Not just because it's informative or educational, but because it's ridiculously entertaining and hilarious.
Oh, he just got owned.
So if you want to really see it, let us know.
Yes. So,
I don't get it.
oh,
But it's funny as hell. These gamer guys are lunatics. Oh, watch out. A 360 no scope.
so yes, it's very personal, right? So like I wanted to show this a little bit because I'm kind of like that guy in the end, in the beginning at least. Now I'm a believer because I've been exposed to the world of gaming. Although I'm still not a gamer, I'm watching gaming content. It's a very personal thing. And then when we talk about the new consumer, one thing to wrap up the things that we've talked about is we always need to start with the consumer, right? Not with ourselves, and try to understand what they're doing. Just try to divorce ourselves as marketers from our own preconceived notions of what they should be doing, what's the right thing. So like when we look at the new consumer, more and more the younger generation, because it's a double entendre, new consumer, the new consumer behavior, and also the new consumers that are growing in this mobile world, mostly millennials. One thing that we find that the needs are immediate. You're either there or not when the consumers are looking for you with your content on the media platforms that they're on. The second thing is the needs are very, very purposeful. Everyone knows what they want. We, as advertisers, speak about the fragmented media landscape. The experts to navigate that landscape are the consumers. We're the ones who are not able to find them yet. And then the third one is the needs are very personal. There are new needs, new genres that we need to understand and need to digest and see the world from their perspective to be able to build our plans. So that being said, one thing that we use as a framework in a world of micromoments, what can we do with online video to reach these consumers, to engage them? We use this framework, which we found is helpful to think about what brands can do to reach these consumers. So the framework is Hero, Hub, Help framework. And I'll show you with examples what this framework is. So Hero. What is hero content? When we talk about online video content, what is a hero content? It's your typical big splash, emotional, either crescendo, big climax, or all crescendo all throughout. It's your advertising. It's the thing that you put your media dollars behind and you try to reach as many people as possible with this type of content. Typically, this type of content that you basically want to broadly put in front of many people is the people that basically lines up with your brand purpose. It's kind of like brand marketing 101, right? A brand needs to have a purpose and needs to show this purpose to consumers in their advertising. It's nothing different in the new era of micromovements. We've done some research, which is a little bit dated now, 2 years ago, but I still find it that it's kind of relevant. Purpose is equal to purchase equal to purpose. How? So we asked the purchasers of cars, beauty products, and consumer electronics the different attributes that they considered influenced them as they were considering buying the product they eventually bought. So we went and found people that recently bought one of these products. And then we showed them pairwise the items that you cannot see. Oh, you can. Actually, it's readable behind me. I was reading off that chart. Okay. So maybe you see, but I'll read them to you. So the top 3 items that was most important to consumers that influenced their decisions are that the brand that they eventually bought gave them useful information in their advertising, engage them on their passions and interests, and the third one is showed principles of the brand's principles at all times. Collectively, all three of them we called purpose. This is the purpose, showing your purpose to consumers. And why was this important? Because the thing that we were fishing was actually a little bit further down at the bottom that you may not have noticed. This is what the brands are chasing usually, get a viral video. That's not important. Like the consumer starting point is not that, have a good laugh and pass on. Some of the viral videos show purpose, but not all of them, right? So like for consumers, it's really, really important to have meaningful, purposeful interactions with the brands. So this is what the hero content has to deliver. The hero content needs to deliver that purpose. The consumers, like highlight what I've just said, say that brands that actually engage them at a personal level, that engage, again, from the same study, so these are the recent purchasers of these products, the brands that engage these recent purchasers at a personal level versus those who were interested in just a transaction, just to sell them that product. So they're 42% more likely to buy the brand that engages them at a personal level. And a great example of a brand that has done that, I don't have the video, but who has seen Always Like a Girl campaign? Great. I hope you liked it. I loved it very much. It was one of my most favorite videos of last year. It was showing what it meant to be like a girl, and it was basically trying to change the perceptions of the consumers around that. And it squarely ties to P&G's Always product mission, which is trying to build confidence in young girls, right? And then they basically were onto something big, so it wasn't just one video. They basically launched the video earlier in the year, then it was in Super Bowl, then later in the summer. So they kept on using different versions of it to engage the consumer, just how you would do with a hero content. That's their way to get the broad reach and get the message out. What do people do? What do you think people do when they watch a video like that? When you watched Like a Girl video, after you watch the video, what is the first thing that crosses your mind if you really, really, really like that video? Share, talk about it. What else? Look it up. What else? Post a comment. Yay. What else? Buy the products. Yes, all of the above. Like, so basically showing hero content to people works. They're the people who see some sorts of hero content advertising on our YouTube platform are 23 times more likely to take one of the actions that you've talked about. But the one action that I want to use the words of a mom that we showed this Like a Girl video to said, she was like, where can I watch more videos like this? She was in tears because her daughter of 5, 6 years old, no, it was the early teens, like 11, 12 years old. She had 2 girls. The one that was older had self-confidence issues, and she immediately wanted to see more videos from P&G on the topic. And that's the number one action that people usually take before buying the product, before commenting, before sharing. Maybe sharing is also very visceral, like you want to share. But that one, at least on YouTube, they want to watch another video. And the way to build a holistic content strategy is, what do you do after you deliver the hero content? You nailed it. It's a purposeful content. What do you do? You need to have the hub and the help content. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about what they are. The hub content is some sort of like you take the hero content and you make a web series out of it. That's how I describe it. It's episodic. It's not maybe as polished or as packed as the hero content, because the hero content needs to deliver the purpose in 30 seconds to a couple of minutes, right? The hub content, you have a little bit more flexibility. So they're a little bit longer, they're a little bit episodic. These are the things that post to your channel on a weekly basis. These are the things that the people that like you, that subscribe to your channel, or they watch your hero content and they want to hear more about you. An example of it is PNG. If you go to their Always Like a Girl channel, you'll see a lot of episodic content on the theme of like a girl, like stories of girls from around the world, stories of girls in certain interest verticals like sports, intellectual stuff, and all sorts of episodic content. So they're good on that. The one example that I like is Nissan, because they started doing it more recently, and they've done it in the context of something that's coming up, but last year, which is Super Bowl. So before they launched their big spot, the hero content for Super Bowl on YouTube, on TV, on other online video platforms, everywhere, right? Because once you have a hero content, you want to distribute it in a video neutral way. But they did something as a teaser, not after. They released I believe 7 or so videos that aligned with the same theme of their hero content, which is about dads and their daughters or their children. That was the main spot. And if you actually watch the Super Bowl, and if you're mildly interested in the ads in the Super Bowl, you might have noticed that that was the most watched ad of the Super Bowl. But what they did was they partnered with YouTube creators to create episodes of the same theme from the perspectives of those creators. And you can go online and find them, but one of my favorites is Conversations with My 2-year-old daughter. That's the creator, I forget the creator's name, but that's the channel. You should search for it, you'll immediately see what it is. It's 2 guys, one of them dresses up as a 2-year girl, and the other one is the father. And basically those are the conversations that they're having. So like you have the guy like me dressed in a princess outfit sitting next to her or his mom, however way you want to construe it. So, you know, these are like funny content that you wouldn't just run necessarily as advertising, but they're engaging content for those people who have seen your hero content and who want to engage more with you to understand what you stand up as a brand. So what about help content? We turn to where we started. It's a world of learning. When you ask moms, what is your top YouTube genre? What is the category that you're most interested on YouTube? Half of them, more than anything else, say how to. Moms is a great example, and I love it. We spent the entire last year researching moms and online videos, so that's why I have to talk about it. They have a lot of questions, and this is nothing new. Are there any of you who are moms yet? I'm not. Yes, we have one. Gail, yes. Okay, we have only 2. So moms have a lot of questions, but if you did research, if you ask PNG, who does research, moms research all the time, they had questions that they, 10 years ago, 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago. The thing that changed with technology is the questions has to be answered in those micro movements. And almost like the pleasure and the guilt of being a mom together is elevated 10 times, 100 times because of technology. And guess what? Who's winning? Video. Because in that busy lives, on those little devices, in one hand the baby or the kid or whatever their job, their hobby, video is the fastest way for them to get to the answers to their questions. So that's why they default to video to understand what's going on, to entertain themselves, and that's why 2 in 3 say prefer video as the form to get answers to their questions. We have a great example. Ogilvy is a great partner of Advertising Research Foundation. I worked there before. I'm super biased, but with them, and they've taken this insight and they've something marvelous with it, which is they found their client Gerber was interested in engaging moms. Who knows Gerber? Do you know Gerber? Yes? Oh, yes, there are others, non-moms who know Gerber. Great. Baby food. So they found the top 44 Google queries that moms are putting in Google in the topic of, am I stopping now?
No, for Q&A.
Oh, okay, so I'm gonna add. So basically, they build one video for each. And I'll just show the beginnings of this video because I just got my stop sign.
How do I make sure my hungry baby is eating enough?
Babies at the crawler stage are little balls of energy, but their tummies are tiny. To make sure he's getting enough food to help fuel his adventures, he needs little meals and snacks throughout throughout the day.
Okay, so I'll skip that, but I'll wrap it up because we're at time and I want to allow you guys to ask questions. The most important thing about this, help content doesn't need to be boring. It's so much fun. You have a question, I'm not gonna have a talking bubblehead to answer your question, like, it's just, it can be still fun. So that's what it is. The consumer needs are immediate, purposeful, and personal in a world where we live in micromoments, right? And when you think about online video, think about not about advertising, but the whole holistic strategy, how you can address those needs with Hero Hub and Help content. If you want to remember what I will be thinking about next week, I will be thinking about unskippables, and the week after, and the month after. So that's what we'll be doing. So if you want to follow on what we'll be doing in the agency marketing team here. So that's my little self-plug, and I'll stop here for your questions. I suppose there's a question here and there. Okay, so let's start there. They need to pass the microphone for the video. People need to hear you. I heard. Yes.
Hi, Cenk. My question for you is, since a lot of us are recently out of undergrad, what would you say were the biggest advantages that you got that you think were marginal from doing the PhD in marketing?
So my PhD was a story of immigration. In all transparency. After undergrad, I was obsessed with, I did my undergrad in Turkey, where I'm from, in industrial engineering. I finished top of my class, and I did a thesis, which was in financial engineering. I came here to the US, did an MBA in Carnegie Mellon in financial engineering, which I'm doing nothing like right now. So I think looking back to myself in my early 20s, I would have taken a step back, not obsessed about what's important to me right now at that point, but thinking a little bit more broadly. I quickly took a job after Carnegie Mellon at Citibank Istanbul, where I was a financial engineer. The markets collapsed, thank God. The prime minister threw the constitution on the face of the president. The military was all around. I was like, Jesus, what's happening? And then I couldn't do financial engineering anymore, and I stumbled into McKinsey Istanbul, and that's how I started my marketing career, which is just so serendipitous, but I didn't plan that, right? And then there goes the money that I paid for the MBA. So my suggestion to you guys is I think I lost a little bit of time. My PhD, as I said, was I wanted to come back to the US, and I was looking for ways to do it, frankly, and it was a blessing because I love studying consumer emotions. But I was always interested in practical world, not academia. So if I were you, I would just basically not focus on this year, just basically try to project a little bit longer what you like in life, what as a person excites you, and then try to find outlets that'll just basically help you experiment those things before you go and make those big investments that I've done.
Hi. So I work for a publisher, and I'm always really interested in emotional storytelling. So when you spoke about emotions will more likely drive people to want to, view and share the content. In terms of emotions within emotions, do you think positive emotion, like joy, inspirational, will more likely to, evoke more emotions than negative emotion, like sadness?
Okay, so that we can talk about that for hours, because I even have an ARF paper published on the topic. Believe it or not, Gail. So to answer, the easy way to answer that question is I'm biased, right? I did my PhD thesis on how emotions influence decisions, and I was arguing how that trumps rational decision making. But I think there's a room for both. If you look at our research, number one thing people want is useful information. But in terms of storytelling, you can't just do it in a very boring way or in a very engaging way. As far as I'm aware of academia, negative emotions work in certain domains, but they need to be threaded very carefully when you actually message with negative emotions, scare tactics, or inducing anxiety, so that they're in the moment, so to say, and you are careful that that negative emotion doesn't come and start being associated with your brand when people think about your brand, right? Basically you could use in your storytelling, but I think you would always win if you just basically create a positive emotion world for your brand, for storytelling, for your brand image. I hope that answers your question. very subjective opinions, like my view of the world. So this one, nothing to do with my job.
You seem like a happy person.
Try to be. Okay, so do we have any other questions? There's one here.
Hello. As digital natives start to have more purchasing power, how do you see YouTube transforming to direct and get those viewers who have already lived with YouTube and digital for years?
Mm-hmm. I think like basically, like it's difficult to speak, right? Because I believe they're already on YouTube. The point is how we keep on engaging them and how we keep on having them on our platform. And you could actually look at some of the things that we've been doing recently. Like, for instance, I'll just give you a few examples. Like we started launching vertical apps. Like for gamers, we have an app, YouTube gaming app. For parents, young moms who want to control the content their kids are exposed to, we have the YouTube Kids app. And now we've just launched the YouTube Music app. So all of these are vertical apps that are basically addressing the needs of the bigger communities in a focused way, other than the app that everybody reaches to. And the other big thing that has just launched is YouTube Red, which is the subscription service. $9.99 a month. You could actually have access to your music and everything without the advertising. We expect a fraction of our users will choose to do that because, you know, there are people who want to pay for not to see ads, not me, but so there are people like that. So I think that's that. And then under YouTube Red, you see there's a bunch of originals programming that's going on. We believe that, you know, it's a platform that just basically almost like YouTube started, like about 20% of the internet traffic is YouTube. It's how we basically serve the consumer. So I think like if we build something great, we believe that people will come, and then if we listen to what people are interested in doing, and then we keep on evolving the product like that, they'll keep on engaging. It's a semi-commercial answer to your question. There's one in the back, and I need to stop. Okay, last question.
Quick question on your Hero Hub app. Do you sometimes hear the question where, okay, this is a lot of content generation, there is a lot of thinking that goes into it and investment, but then when the mom or the girl goes to the store, she sees always, she's like, oh, I really like that advertising campaign, and then she reaches for the store brand. So do you get that question where we're doing a lot of investment, we're creating a bond, but then if at the store it doesn't translate into a purchase, what do we do?
No, that's always that's a great question, and that's always a possibility, right? I think from the media mix models that I see, the influence of marketing or content, you might call it, is about like 10-20% or so on purchases. I think Guadagni and Little published a paper. This is me getting academic. It's one of the first papers I read. That's why I remember in my marketing PhD. 80% of the fast-moving goods purchases are influenced by the previous purchase. So the influence of marketing is like 10-20% at best. It's very consistent with now the marketing mix models that I see. So if you get the loyalty of a consumer, that's golden. The rest you can change with marketing, and the change is incremental, right? So we're playing in that territory. So once you accept that the price is a factor, whether you're available on the shelf is a factor, right? And then marketing promotion is a factor. And then when we think about marketing promotion, and if you believe that video is a great way to do that, that's when you use the framework. Thank you so much. This has been great pleasure. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day.